Today, I would like to share the words of God under the title, Heavenly Family and Earthly Family. In Korea, May the 5th is Children's Day, and May the 8th is Parents' Day. There are many anniversaries regarding family in the month of May. In the United States, there are Mother's Day and Father's Day. There are anniversaries for mothers and fathers. Wherever you go on this earth, we can see anniversaries regarding parents or families. Nations, countries, and organizations are talking about these kinds of things a lot. Actually, the words of God, the Bible, give us more teachings about respect for parents and love for children than any other books. God emphasizes about the family. He teaches us to be united and have a good relationship between family members. There are also teachings of God about doing filial duty faithfully. That's why some people define home as the Father's kingdom, Mother's world, and children's paradise. Indeed, home is a Father's kingdom and a world where Mother is most comfortable and a place like paradise for children, isn't it? That's why in the month of May, God has shown us the heavenly family through the earthly family, which is the copy and shadow. When it comes to family, there are father and mother, right? There are also sons and daughters, children. These components make a complete family. The earthly family is to be connected and united in love. Then how much more should the heavenly family be united and become one in love? That's why the Bible said in the book of Hebrews chapter 8 that the earthly thing is a copy and shadow of what is in heaven. The earthly thing is the same as the heavenly thing when you compare them. In the earthly family, there are father, mother, brothers, and sisters. In the kingdom of heaven, there are also God the Father, and God the Mother, and brothers and sisters, right? When we realize that we have our heavenly parents, we should give honor and respect to our God. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 4. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, these should learn first of all to put their religion into practice by caring for their own family and so repaying their parents and grandparents, for this is pleasing to God. When you look at the 66 books of the Bible, there are many teachings about honor your father and mother, even in the law of Moses. And in the New Testament too, we can find many same teachings from our Heavenly Father and Mother. Here it says, children or grandchildren should learn first of all to put their religion into practice by caring for their own family and so repaying their parents and grandparents, for this is pleasing to God. Let's continue to study about this by going to Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you, and that you may enjoy long life on the earth. When we take a look at Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1 through 3, God has given us teachings about this continually. Obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise. When you go to 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 10, but with good deeds, appropriate for women who profess to worship God. Everyone, God is our heavenly parents. Then how should we treat them? We should honor them as a matter of course. God taught us to do good deeds. Parents should take care of their children with love, and children should honor their parents. If the whole world follows God's teachings, this world can't be chaotic. Everything will go well. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 5 and take a look at the teachings about honoring parents. Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 16. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you. Who taught us to honor our parents? It is God. Honor your father and your mother, as the Lord your God has commanded you, so that you may live long and that it may go well with you in the land the Lord your God is giving you. The Bible clearly teaches us that we will surely be blessed when we honor our father and mother. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Let's see Exodus chapter 21, verse 15. Anyone who attacks his father or his mother must be put to death. There was severe punishment for those who did not show respect to their parents. Anyone who attacks his father or his mother must be put to death. Anyone who kidnaps another and either sells him or still has him when he is caught must be put to death. Anyone who curses his father or mother must be put to death. Like this, there was severe punishment for those who are unfilial to their parents. Everyone, we should honor our parents. There are some people who do not know how to fulfill filial duty. They do not know in detail how to put that into practice. That's why Heavenly Mother taught us how to carry out filial duty as we meet the month of May. Let's practice filial duty, even if it's a small thing. Although we do not have much time to spend with our parents, since we are living a busy lifestyle in an industrial society, let us communicate with them, giving them phone calls often. Don't we have Parents' Day on May 8th for us to remember the love of parents every year? Also, we have Heavenly Parents' Day on May 18th, so that we will not forget the love of our heavenly parents. Let us practice our filial duty to our physical parents too, that is spiritually related with our heavenly parents. Some people say there is no evil person if they are dutiful to their parents. Let me share one article about how to treat your parents. It is named 10 Commandments for Parents. First, we should have good conversation with our parents. Because we have lived in different generations, we have different perspective regarding everything. So, sometimes, parents do not understand what children are talking about. However, there are more times when children do not understand what parents are talking about. In Korea, a long time ago, most people lived in very poor circumstances. In the past, many events took place in Korea, such as its independence and the Korean War in the 1950s, which made Korea very poor. At that time, our parents spared their food to raise us and gave us enough education. Parents made much effort for the children's future. However, when we talk about these kinds of stories to the new generation, they say, "Why did you skip meals? Why didn't you just eat ramen noodles?" There was no ramen noodles at that time. Our parents and grandparents satisfied their hunger with the bark of pine trees. However, people who are born in the time when they do not have a chance to experience that kind of circumstance say, "Please stop talking like that. I feel a generation gap with you." Even though you may feel a generational gap, let us listen to what parents say and understand it. We should frequently have conversations with parents. This is one of the 10 Commandments for parents. Second, give some jobs to parents. When people become old, they can't work like young people. They lose their energy and can't get correct results as they expected. That's why we often say to our parents, "I will do it instead of you." However, it is necessary to give some kind of job to parents so that they can work with happiness. Third, help parents have hobbies in their life. Since many people do not know how to practice filial duty to their parents, it seems that this kind of article was written. Fourth, give parents time to travel. It says, when people become old, they want to experience new circumstances and atmospheres. If you are having financial difficulties, you can offer them a chance to experience a new circumstance and atmosphere at a near place. It is written in this article. Fifth, understand the words and actions of parents. It's because when people become old, they're easily forgetful, intimidated, scold a lot, and become persistent. We should understand that. We have become mature now. It's because parents did not spare their efforts, right? Since many of Zion members are young, there are many things that you can't understand about parents unless you become that age. When I was in my teenage years, or in my 20s, I couldn't understand what people think about in my current age now. However, as I became aged, I can understand why my parents said that, why aged people said that. Now I can understand everything. I come to think, that's why they said that. I couldn't accept it since I did not know due to my young age. This article says that we should understand the words and actions of parents as a fifth commandment among the 10. Sixth, when family is going out, go with your parents. What if a husband and a wife call each other and say, let's meet at that place after work and hang out, or hang out only with their children? If you live with parents, please consider these things too. Although you can't go out frequently with your parents due to circumstances, you can often have a meal together and make good memories. This book suggests that. 7. When a guest visits your house, let him or her greet your parents first. You can have a conversation after that. We also should teach our children to greet parents first. This was the 7th commandment. I am sharing this with you since I agree on all of these. 8th, it is good to take parents to the hospital, even though their sickness is minor. Since many countries have good health insurance systems nowadays, if our parents are not feeling well for any reason, let us take them to the hospital, even though their symptom is minor. Also, there are things that parents want to do, but that children don't realize. However, many parents are not financially capable. So the 9th is give pocket money to parents every month, even if it is a small amount. It is written that it is good to make a bank account under our parents' names. We cannot serve parents in these ways forever. That's why we must do one more thing to our parents as the people of Zion. That is helping our parents have a correct faith in God and give them an opportunity to live a life of faith. I believe this is the best way to practice our filial duty. Doing our filial duty on this earth is temporary. However, spiritual filial duty lasts forever. Bring your parents into the truth and walk together in the life of faith. What can be better than this? These are the 10 commandments for parents that I found in a book. Sometimes young people may think, people say we need to do filial duty to our parents, but how can we do it? If you have a question like this, please put these small things into practice first. Also, let us think over how we can do our spiritual filial duty for our heavenly parents through our physical parents. God has given us the 10 commandments in Exodus chapter 20. Among the 10, the 5th one is, honor your father and your mother, isn't it? Let's take a look at Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Why has God given us this command in the 10 commandments? Is this only referring to physical matters? This is not only referring to physical things. Since all the 66 books of the Bible were given to the children of heaven, who will live forever in the eternal world, It is a matter of course that we should be faithful to our physical parents. On top of that, if our physical parents, brothers, and sisters are led into the truth and go to heaven together, what joy can be greater than that? This month, let us do our filial duty to our parents and share love with our brothers and sisters. Everyone, do you know Helen Adam Keller? Helen Keller was born as blind, deaf, and mute. She lived a painful life with these conditions. However, later she became a living example as a life of victory. She is known as a great person in history. There was a movie about her story. At the end of the movie, Helen Keller realized the love of mother. That's why a person wrote a review of this movie like this. If you realize the love of mother, you know the most valuable thing in your life. If you think about this in a different way, no matter how smart you are, how good of a school you graduated from, how rich you are, how valuable your position is, if you do not realize mother's love, you're living your life without knowing the most valuable thing in this world. I read that review of the movie. Love of mother, love of father, and brotherly love. These things are necessary in our family, aren't they? The Bible said that this earthly world is the world of shadow. We can see the sacrificial love of parents, even in this world of shadow. Then how much more will the love of our heavenly parents be? Even though we don't study about that deeply, we can easily understand the reality through the shadow, can't we? Let us always remember the filial duty. Love towards children is precious too, but the love towards parents must be greater and more precious than the love towards children. When our respect and love for our parents become perfect, we will be blessed. There are many teachings about this in the Bible. You shouldn't talk carelessly to your parents. You shouldn't misbehave to your parents. You should serve them with respect, regarding them as precious as your own life. These are the teachings in the 66 books of the Bible. God has given good teachings in the Bible so that we can learn the filial duty. Let's go to Ruth, chapter 1, verse 5. Both Mahlon and Kilian also died, and Naomi was left without her 2 sons and her husband. There is the family history about Naomi that can be found in the book of Ruth. Her 2 sons, Mahlon and Kilian, died, and her husband died too. Eventually, only Naomi and her 2 daughters-in-law were left. At that time, Naomi did not want her 2 daughters-in-law to go through a hard time. That is why she said, "May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." In verse 6. Let's continue with verse 6. When she heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people by providing food for them, Naomi and her daughters-in-law prepared to return home from there. With her two daughters-in-law, she left the place where she had been living and set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. Then Naomi said to her two daughters-in-law, "Go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you, as you have shown to your dead and to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband." Then she kissed them, and they wept aloud and said to her, "We will go back with you to your people." Verse 11. But Naomi said, "Return home, my daughters. Why would you come with me? Am I going to have any more sons who could become your husbands? Return home, my daughters. I'm too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight and then gave birth to sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried for them? No, my daughters. It is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has gone out against me." At this they wept again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung to her. The daughter-in-law named Orpah went back to her hometown, and Ruth continued to follow her mother-in-law named Naomi. Verse 15. "Look," said Naomi, "your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her." But Ruth replied, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates you and me." Truly, Ruth was determined to follow her mother-in-law with all her heart and came back to Israel following Naomi. Eventually, through her, Jesus Christ was born according to the genealogy of David. She is recorded in the Bible as a great person. You can find her name in the genealogy of Jesus Christ in the Bible. Her mother-in-law said to her, "Since you are young in age, why don't you go back to your hometown and marry again?" However, Ruth gave up all her joy and happiness and dedicated her life to serving her mother-in-law. She went back to Israel and married into a great family, and also was able to serve her mother-in-law, Naomi, well. More than that, her name was recorded in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. It is very unusual that a woman's name is found in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Looking at the record about Ruth's blessing due to her filial duty, we too should have the same attitude as that of Ruth. Instead of avoiding difficulties, honoring parents, and being united with brothers and sisters according to the teachings of God. We must obey the word, "A new command I give you, love one another." Who is managing all life and death, curse and blessings in human life? It is God. When we live according to the teachings of God, doesn't God give us abundant blessing upon blessing? Honor your parents is also a command and teaching of God. Being united with brothers and sisters is also a teaching of God. We should put these teachings into practice in the earthly family and also the heavenly family as well. Our earthly family relationship goes no more than 70 or 80 years. How about our heavenly family? It lasts forever, right? However, God has given us the understanding that the earthly family is also important while living 70 or 80 years of our life. As the heavenly family, let us never be lacking in respecting our heavenly parents. We should also be united with our brothers and sisters. When our brothers and sisters suffer from difficulties, we should solve them by praying together. God let us know what pleases Him the most through the Bible. Orpah tried to avoid momentary difficulties, but Ruth was determined and said, "Even though it will be difficult to follow you, I will do my filial duty until the end, as God said." Their different determination brought about a great difference in result. Ruth became a great person in the Bible, whose name was written in the genealogy of Israel. God recorded the name of Ruth in the genealogy of Jesus Christ, so that the future generation would know it. Let us do our filial duty to our physical parents on this earth, and even more to our heavenly parents. Everyone. There are some creatures that do filial duty to their parents. We all know doves, right? Doves and crows are good examples. When it comes to the dove, when the parent doves sit on a branch, the children doves sit on a branch that is 3 levels under the branch where the parents sit. Doves have a nature to respect their parents. Even though it is a bird, it is amazing. Recently, we can see too many doves around us. They make parks and roads dirty. That's why I did not like that bird. However, since they are respecting their parents, they look different. When it comes to the crow, if their parents become old and can't hunt the prey and can't fly, they serve their parents until they die. Even though they are birds, they show respect to their parents and serve them. We can't help but think, we are children of God. Then are we better than them? God is our parents, and we also have physical parents on this earth. In the month of May, we should teach our members to serve their parents well. When parents feel uneasy, let us find out the reason so that we can serve them in a better way. I mentioned earlier about the 10 commandments for parents. Let us have conversation with parents often. Give them some jobs. Let them have hobbies and travel together. I think we are lacking in understanding the words and action of the parents. Actually, our parents have become weak while raising and taking care of us. Since they became old, they've grown timid. Also, because they have much experience, they say many things to us. However, it sounds like rebuking in our ears. Sometimes they seem to be persistent. However, when we become old, we cannot help but to do the same thing. We should make our homes as the kingdoms of our fathers. In this age, when we go home, we don't put our Father as priority anymore. Our home should become Father's kingdom. We should also make our home as Mother's world. While we are doing that, home can become children's paradise. When we show our respect to our parents, we can make our home like the kingdom of heaven. In the month of May, the month of family, I wanted to share this word with you so that we can remember the grace of our heavenly parents. Hoping that you will receive much grace through this sermon, I would like to ask all of you to do your filial duty to your parents in the month of May. Thank you very much.